Dwayne Thompson in the building. Mr. The real LA. Not Little Alabama. Not Los Angeles, California.
But I did live there.
You live there? Really? Okay.
Graduated from school in LA.
Oh, I didn't know that. But we got Mr. LA, Mr. Louisiana, Mr. Dwayne Thompson, Big Daddy Bone Barbecue in the building.
We in the building, man. We in the building, man. Good to be here, man. Good to be here. Finally sit down, chop it up. You know what I'm saying? Been a long time. Been a long time coming, man. Just, really excited about talking to the people, talking that business, letting them know what it is on all fronts, all sides, man. And even, we go way back.
We gonna get into it.
We're
gonna definitely get into it.
Yeah, we go way back. So I'm excited, man, to be here.
Okay. Yeah. So you came here from Katrina.
Yeah, 2005.
2005. Katrina hit. You made your way to Birmingham, and Birmingham embraced you. For the most part.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
We're going to say for the most part.
I can say all these things because I know the history. Birmingham embraced you, and shortly after, you started the Alabama Youth Against Violence, then turned to the Youth Against Violence. What was the Alabama Youth Against Violence and the Youth Against Violence? What was the purpose for that?
Well, when I was in Louisiana, I actually was working with an organization called Central City Youth Against Violence. I've always believed after my change in life, my metamorphosis, you know what I'm saying, my salvation, my call to Christ, I always knew what my problem was as a young person. And that was mindset renewal, you know what I'm saying, conflict resolution, critical thinking. I've always been a thinker. I've always been able to outthink the person or outthink the situation. Not that I haven't been presented with it, but within my years of being in the streets, God blessed me with the ability to outthink myself and keep my crazy self out of prison. Okay. And not have to be one of the ones who went the road of, I went to jail, I got shot, I found God after I almost died. You know what I'm saying? I actually was free. I was out. When I got the opportunity to meet Christ and to change my life, I hadn't had that story. But I still had the story of growing up in the hood, being involved with gangs, but to the point where I never really got jumped in the gang. I was just included in the gang because I lived in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because I was always able to think my way out. I was always able to miss the gang fight. I was always able to not be around once when the shooting started and pop back up after it stopped, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was something. That was something I wanted to introduce to young people and to teach them and to show them that it was possible to have all of these obstacles and all these things against you, but still make it, and yet be okay and still be part of the cool crew and things of that nature. Like, I ain't never been lame. I ain't never been labeled as a lame, but I didn't have to go to prison to not be that. I didn't have to kill nobody to not be that. So these are the things I want to teach them.
Let me ask you this. Because like I said, I know the history. Back in New Orleans, drink water, people. It's good for you. Back in New Orleans, you had a name called Heavy.
Yeah.
Did I hit it?
That's the right one.
Okay. Bodyguard, personal bodyguard. Now, I just got to get into these names of the people that you were friends with bodyguards with. And a lot of people wouldn't believe this unless they saw the pictures. So give me some names.
Well, I'm one of the original 3 structured founders of Cash Money Records. So I've been around all of their artists up right until the Hot Boys. I left like right before the Hot Boys. Master P, Rap-A-Lot, Ice Cube, NWA, SWV, Fifth Ward boys.
Because you got many pictures with Manny Fresh that I know of.
Well, it's not a secret anymore. I just read an article where Manny actually told the world in the magazine that I introduced him to the Cash Money record label. So yeah, we've been friends for years. Though. We've been friends since I did my first tour with Manny and a guy named Gregory D. They were on tour, and I did my first actual road tour as a road manager / bodyguard with Manny and a dude named Gregory D.
Because you were a lot heavier then, right?
Yeah, I was like Big Junior used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 500 pounds right then. So I was a big guy.
So that's why I had to go back. I kind of got ahead of myself. I had to go back from Youth Against Violence. I had to go back to your history. Because a lot of people don't know your history. And when you said you never had to go to jail and you was never a lame, like they don't know that you was affiliated with Master P, with Hot Boys. They don't know all of it. So now when you get into, because you've seen so much violence in New Orleans, I'm sure when you get into Youth Against Violence and Alabama Youth Against Violence, therefore, and you was right around the time when Mothers Against Violence, they started like a little bit after you or before you?
After Mothers, who won the violence started right after me. But I was part of, I worked with Parents Against Violence, which started.
I remember that.
They were like right somewhere before me or after. It came like right across about the same time. And going even further back into the history of that is that, in between 1988 and 1990, New Orleans had the highest murder rate in the nation. Mm-hmm. So I was like affiliated with a lot of people who died, man. To be honest with you, even to this day, I don't really like funerals. Yeah. Because between those 2 years, I went to like 40 funerals. Yeah. Of not people, I wasn't wind off good times. We just like going to funerals. These were like dudes I shook hands with, talked to, knew by name, and it was a hard time for me to really digest losing all them people at that time, man. You know what I'm saying? So I really wanted to just try to save people from having to have that experience of losing themselves, believing the story, but not knowing the end of the story, thinking that the hustle, was gratifying. One thing I tell people all the time, like, everybody wanted to be Scarface back in that day. Mm-hmm. And I used to ask them, have you seen the end of that movie? Like, bruh, this how you wanted it? Because you seen how that ended, right? Like, but everybody wanted, the blimp and the world is yours and the money. But I'm like, he killed his sister, old man, and he died in a hell of gun, and he was a dope fiend, right? This is, so yeah, that's the kind of thing. I like to bring a life into people's mind, man.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people I feel like don't think about the end, or they don't think about the consequences behind it. I had to bring those things up. I got to go somewhere else. I remember you had prayer walks when it was unpopular. A lot of people weren't having prayer walks. I remember you being called to come to a lot of houses when a mother has just lost her son. Before the police even get there. Just lost her son, and they called, got your number and called and asked you to come to the houses to pray with the family and comfort the family. I know you preached many sermons for some of these young men. Also, I know that the Birmingham Police Department asked you to come in as community, what was it?
The official title was Community Police Relations Assistant, but they call them crime prevention officers, or what they're known as now. Okay. But yeah,
but you were one of the first ones kind of to, in that program.
Yeah, well, the position always existed. Yeah. But when A.C. Roper, who was chief at the time, when I came in, he brought me into...
Big supporter of yours.
Yeah, well, he brought me in to build relationships with the community and the police. At this time, Birmingham Police Department was having a real hard time with trust in the community, but the big fact was they were having a hard time with trust with the homeless community. Mm. So I was brought in to kind of fill that void of the police and the homeless community, the police and the community that might have had mental, situations, mental disease, stuff like that, because part of my expertise was in counseling and training and being able to work with people of that nature.
I don't think, and that has to be a big lesson to be learned. I don't think a lot of people really understand how bad mental health is, you know, and how far it goes, how deep it goes, you know, and there's really no help in the mental, you know, like there's help, but, you know, a lot of people really still don't get it. So they really still need somebody like you who can be that go-between.
Well, and the education, the want to be educated, to understand. You know, sometimes people have their own ideologies about things. So when you try to teach them or show them certain things, they kind of like stand off because they feel like you stepping on their toes. Or, you know, I've had incidents where I've stepped in a situation and all of a sudden, like, this is my job, not your job. I'm like, hold up, I get that. But if I could help you not have to put your hands on it, if I could help you, you know, calm this situation down, take it down a notch because of my relationship with this person, because they are the person in charge, I have to ask their permission. I'm like, bro, just give me a chance to holler at her. I'm gonna let you do your job, but I know him, I'm out here with him all the time. You did. Because I can remember one time, somebody called about, you know, one of the homeless public, he was riding around and he had a basket. And in the basket, he had like a sword. And they were concerned about him and the sword. You know, and when everybody popped up on the scene, you talking swords, you talking tasers, you talking guns. But I happened to be out there and I kind of knew him. I knew him by name. I knew him by name. I could tell he was on his meds, so he wasn't tripping. And so I was like, hey. I said, let me do something for you. And they were like, no, move out of there. I said, bro, just give me a second. And so I told him, hey, I said, listen, if you don't give me the sword, you probably gonna lose your life. I said, because people are real scared. But it's only for my protection. I said, I get that. But it's illegal. You can't have it and it's dangerous. I said, how about we trade? And so I had a 2x4 that I had picked up. I said, how about I give you this board and you give me the sword? And so he gave me the sword. I gave him the 2x4. Situation was calm. He went on about his business, turned it in. Nobody had to die that day. But I firmly believe if a person, I'm not putting strikes on my back, but if a person, anybody with a trainer or who knew them in that manner was able to talk. But if it had been just them, him and them,
it would have turned out.
I believe it would have turned out, but not because they're looking, but because nobody had the knowledge or the backstory of this individual being who he was when he was on his medication, and that he wasn't the threat that people had made him up to be in the calls, because I could hear the call and how fearful people was. He was a big guy, you know, and he looked scary to most people, you know, and so that was one of the things I was most proud of, you know, along with some of the things that I was able to put in place when I was in that position, like the Hydrate the Homeless program, Hydrate the Elderly program, where we rode around and gave water to homeless people.
We did rode around and gave water to homeless people. We did
and to elderly people.
And the elderly people
at the bus station.
We also did the blankets. Warm
home, warm hearts.
Yeah,
we did blankets also.
Yeah, we did that too. So,
and I want to say that we started the Ride Against Violence with the motorcycle groups.
You did. Yeah, we had all the most. Yeah.
We initiated that.
And I appreciate you for bringing that.
They're still carrying it.
Yeah.
They're still carrying that on to this day. You know what I'm saying? Some of the groups, I wanted bigger and better. Maybe this year in 24, I've been thinking about rejoining it because some of the people who were doing it weren't doing it the way that I felt needed to be done. So I backed out. I disassociated myself for the last few years, but I'm thinking about bringing it back in a big major way.
So now we gotta go to the next level. So you got so many levels. I told you it's gonna be.
It's some hats, man. It's some hats, man. It's some hats.
You went from
that ADHD.
You went from being a go-between to then starting your own business, and now you feeding. I saw you feeding hundreds of police officers. Let's talk about that. So how did that happen?
Well, you know, I've always had the want, the skill to cook. You know, I'm from Louisiana, so we cook, we eat, we cook. You dig? But it then came to a time where I really was like kind of looking for a second job, looking to make some money. So I was actually cooking outside of clubs and things of that nature at night. And just one night I was like standing outside, cooking outside the club, and dude like, man, I ain't never tasted no sauce like this. So it's like, man, you need to, you know, put this in a bottle. I was like, bro, listen, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You need to get this policizer and eat real and go home.
Yeah.
So, you know, I kind of heard about it in him. But the very next week, a guy walked up to me and was like, man, you need to put this in a bottle. And I was like, hold up. You need to get your hands off my chest. But before I could finish it, the Lord spoke to me and said, I gave you everything you need. And so I
sent you 2 people.
And so I started looking into what it took to be a sauce creator. And so in Alabama, you know, you have to be an acidic manufacturer because of what's in the sauce.
Okay.
And so that means that you have to go take a class.
Okay.
So I got into the last class of the year, the last week of the class, and that's when I realized that it was God's time, because I know me, and with my ADHD, I wouldn't have sat around another year waiting for the class to come. I probably would have just been like, all right, I'll do something different.
Maybe one
But,
thing.
you know, here we are. I seen you put up the established, you know, 2015, my jacket got on there, established 2015. So, you know, we almost 10 years strong. By 10 years, we're going to do a little something. We're going to do something in Birmingham.
Well, congratulations
you know
on that.
Appreciate it. So the sauce is 9 years strong, you know, and we've been working it. We've created a thing. It came from a barbecue sauce. So now we perfected it, and it's an actual cooking sauce. Okay. So it has a dual role.
I cook one sauce.
And listen, man, you take this sauce, you put it on the grill, the heat caramelizes it, turns into a barbecue sauce. But if you take it and you drop it in a pot, the heat and the liquid dissolves it, and it turns into just a flavorful abundance of liquid ecstasy. It is. So it's like I put it in greens, cabbage, beans, chili. You know, I drop it in all that. But a few years back,
give it a different taste.
Yeah, it feel like you just dropped in a bunch of herbs and spices and garlic and everything.
I love to cook, so you know.
So you know, the sauce and the season. So we did that for a while, you know.
So you got a seasoning now.
Yeah, that's part. We on. You said we peeling off levels. So the sauce is the first thing. So after the sauce, you know, I got into the food truck game. Kind of, you know what I'm saying, out there trying to give food away, sell food, feed people, give them the taste of the sauce, own food, you know, stuff like that.
Before you go any further, I got a question. Because somebody right now wants to start a food truck business, but they don't know how. Give me about 5 steps to start a food truck business.
You have to have a passion.
A passion? Okay.
You can't think that it's a get rich quick situation.
Okay.
You have to understand the laws. Right?
So there's laws for the food truck.
There's laws, man. The laws of the game, bro. You have to understand the laws. You have to understand the laws. The next thing you have to do is you have to count the costs. You have to count the costs. And with anybody, man, I tell them this. Find your niche. Be like nobody else. Don't copy no trend that's going on. Don't, they make egg rolls, but I can make egg rolls better. He, you know, Travis made porter salad, but I can make, you know, Travis got the bear burger, but I got the super grizzly burger. You know, no, man, find your niche. You did. Don't ride nobody else's coattail, and then make it, you know, as I've tried to do over the years, man, you know, Big Daddy's not just a name, it's a brand.
It's only been one person, Dwayne, that I know of that didn't do this. Everybody that got next to Green Acre said My wings so good gonna run Green Acres out of town. You remember that?
I do.
And that right there.
And he's not talking about me, people.
No. I'm saying, no, it was Damon. Damon didn't do that.
Yeah.
But everybody else did that. But I can honestly say this: that what you just said, don't do what somebody else does. It's like me saying, "Oh, my haircut's so good, I'm gonna run everybody else." No.
And you can do what they do,
Yeah.
but don't make your reason for doing it to get rid of somebody else or to, if it's what you do, like, you know, I declare myself the smoke wing king. Now, there are people who make smoke wings like that.
Yeah.
But, but it's official with me. I got paperwork to prove that. I got plaques and I got trophies and I got ribbons. So I can declare that because others have said that.
The way I look at it, I'm a barber. Been a barber for a long time. But it's barbers out here that'll cut me under the rug, right? But if I'm cutting, I'm not trying to be in competition with nobody.
At all. I'm doing the
I
best
got my
I do.
people who love me. You got your people who love your food. That's that.
And here's the thing, man. Even in this business, you know, this is what I just told you earlier. It's like, when it comes to creating a brand. So this is my theory. I have the McDonald's mentality when it comes to how to get people in, which is get them in and get a number of them in, and then you can work with those numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And lead your own way. But I have a cigarette brand mentality on my brand. If you know people who smoke cigarettes, right?
Mm-hmm.
If they smoke a certain brand, they don't go in and say, people who just smoke, they might say, give me the cheapest, but they just smoke. But when you find your brand lawless, somebody who's loyal to a brand,
like Cools,
yeah, they will run the gamut before they ask for any other brand. You got the Cool Filter King? Oh, you don't? You got the 100? Oh, you don't? You got the menthol? You don't? You got the soft pack? You know? You got the hard pack? You got the shorts? They gonna run everything that Cool made. They gonna run everything that Cool made. I studied it. Listen, man, I studied it because I'm building a brand because in this game of food condiments, you take the big name people, when you go into a store on the shelf, it's very limited space for an independent. You got a Kraft who got 10 flavors, man. That's 10 spots on the shelf. Mm-hmm. You got a Sweet Baby Ray's who have 12 flavors. That's 22 spots on the shelf. You got a Bullseye, a KC, a Jack Daniels. These are all the major labels. Then you got your Piggly Wiggly brand or your store brand, your BBQ, just a BBQ on it, right? Your plain brand, or your Walmart brand.
Or your Great Value.
Or your Great Value, right? So you just named 35 slots they have to give up. How many slots you think they got on the shelf for barbecue sauce or for seasoning or for cooking sauce? So until you get people,
independent brand.
That's all major labels.
All major labels, but for independent.
For an independent to come in there, they'll try you. So let me tell you what happened. I don't want
to ask you that next. You probably gonna say what I was gonna ask you when you first tried to, because somebody's thinking about giving up on their brand. They've been cooking barbecue sauce. They've been doing it. When you first went in and you wanted to get your stuff on shelf, how did it go?
So here's the deal. I actually been on store shelf, and I'm still on some shelf. But we're talking when I first went in.
First went in, and
I didn't do
you had
that.
a good idea.
The store shelf wasn't my goal.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's what people have to understand. What I told you in the 5 steps, learn the business, right? Mm-hmm. So when you learn the business, you'll learn that people goal a lot of times is to get on the store shelf, but you can actually commit brand suicide by moving too fast. Okay. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. So when I first come out the gate with my sauce, right? I'm popular. I know people. I got folks who know folks. So I had this opportunity to meet Steve Harvey.
Okay.
Man, Steve can make your sauce, blah, blah, blah. I declined. Man, you crazy. I said, you crazy. Because my infrastructure of my brand wasn't to the point where it could have handled the capacity of somebody on that level endorsing me. So if I don't have a way to collect this information off the internet, mail out it, have enough product, have enough people working where I have turnaround time to get it out in time, now I got a collection of people talking bad about me, and I just committed brand suicide by moving too fast.
Man, you mentioned Steve Harvey. We've been, so with all the things that we named earlier, as well as I kept it going with the feeding our friends. I try not to say feeding the homeless. And because when it started being not just homeless people, it was people just riding around in town, didn't have nowhere to eat.
Yeah.
So we that spent off from that. But we did something for about 8 years with the Steve Harvey Morning Show in 107.7, and Sir Lawrence and Sly King and their group. Steve Harvey started sending 100 turkeys to us every year, and we fed. We did the turkeys from our barbershop. So you remember when we used to. So that was a spin. So that's a lot of things that people don't know that we've done over the years.
Yeah, and I just say I appreciate this opportunity, the platform to kind of get things out. And a lot of times people think that I don't share a lot of it because people don't understand when it's your heart, the difference is it being your heart and it being you bragging and you telling folks, I just do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a lot of things that we've done that people don't know that we've done, or people don't even understand that we did. I remember a time we fed the whole, all the kids in the project. Yeah. Hot dogs and stuff like that nature. So it's time when it's your path to do things,
man. We did it back to school again.
Yeah. So it's just a pleasure, brother, to be part. I'm not old school Birmingham. Yeah. But when I came in, people, took me in and taught me the culture, the heritage of Birmingham, the importance. I remember talking to people like Fred Shuttlesworth. Oh, yeah. I remember talking to Colonel. Yeah. I remember talking to
Tommy Wren.
Tommy Wren. Yeah. Tommy Wren used to call me his pastor. Yeah. He used to say, that's my only pastor right there.
Man, I said, and I'm a member of the Foot Soldiers organization now. So, and I was in the office one day, and I was just looking at so many that have passed away, and I was like, man, I got a chance to meet history. I got a chance to cut Fred Shuttlesworth. I got a chance to cut John Lewis. And I was looking on that wall, just so much history, just so many different people that were pioneers that paved the way for us.
Man, shout out to my guy AJ, man. AJ,
shout out to AJ, man.
Like, AJ walked, he embraced me. He taught me a lot about this city, man. He introduced me to a lot of folk, and got me entangled within City Hall and the wall, and the corridors of City Hall. And I got to meet people like
AJ really was somebody who really, if he liked you, he liked you. If he didn't, he didn't. He wasn't fake with it.
Yeah, not at all.
Frank Matthews,
me and Frank still talk to this day.
Mayor Larry Langford.
Larry Langford.
You know what I'm saying?
God bless him. So that man was the first man to put me out of his office and bring me back in.
Bring you back in.
Because, when I was trying to when he was a county commissioner, I was trying to get funding for my organization. Yeah. And he put me out of his office, but not because he liked me, because my paperwork wasn't straight. Okay. And I appreciated that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't do something for me, and things weren't right with me. Yeah. Yeah. And then, when he seen me, the next time he seen me, it was like 2 years later, A.C. Roper brought me in his office, and he asked one question. He said, Chief, you need him? He said, I'd like to have him. He said, well, what are we talking about? He went on the balcony and smoked a cigarette, and I was high that day. You know what I'm saying? So that's who was responsible for my position in the city of Birmingham.
Oh, really? Yeah, the person that put you out.
That's
why having a good attitude and just being patient, you weren't ready.
Wasn't ready. And I received that from him.
Yeah. Good attitude will take you a long way. Yeah, man. Yeah, we've done a whole lot of things, man. Like I said, I'm proud of, the steps that you've taken since you came to the city. You know, I remember calling you. I didn't know, but I was talking to somebody. They said it's a hurricane here in New Orleans, real bad, and I hit New Orleans, and I didn't know anything about it. And I called you. You was like, "Yeah, man, Hurricane Gustav." You remember that? And I had just when it cut hair down there for Katrina at the Civic Center, me and Bobby Beard. And when you said Hurricane Gustav, I said, man. So when I hung up from you, I called the guy who my contact down at the Boutwell. Went down there, ended up setting up a barbershop. I took my children with me. I don't know if you knew this, but I took my children with me, and I set up a barbershop, and my children was over the table. They had to get the people's name, and my boys, they ended up getting going and helping people get their lunches and stuff like that. Because a lot of them couldn't, you know, was not mobile. They couldn't move around. You know, someone had legs cut off, stuff like that. But when I walked to the front door, I did this for like a week. But the first day when I walked to the front door, Mayor Larry Langford was talking to Herman Henderson. You know, he was just coming to, you know, to view, you know, everything and how it was going. But man, it's a lot of work to be done, you know, and we have to keep the fight going, you know. So people like you, you've been in the fight, you started a business, you're still in the fight, and now look at you today. You got your own sauce, you have your own seasoning. So what's next?
Man, you know what, to be honest with you, I want to continue doing what I'm doing, but right now I'm doing, so the whole nature of it is, I have a spot in Bessemer. It's called Lil Mama's.
Lil Mama, all right.
Named it after my wife. And so it's a rental space for meeting places. It's like 45 people. Okay. I'm open to the public on Fridays. Okay. On Friday, I'm open for a fish fry. 7.
So you can come and get some hot fish on Friday.
I'm talking about shrimp, salmon bites, suede, catfish nuggets, and whiting. It is with okra, French fries. You know, but during the week, I do catering, small and large events, meal preps. I got some heat and serve items that I do, but I'm also a travel chef now too. So I travel.
So you can get your hot fish on Friday. Mm-hmm. You do catering.
I do catering for all size events.
And then you can be a personal chef.
Yeah. So I do like holiday coming up with Valentine. You know, I cook for people in their house for their, you know, for their Valentine, for their anniversary. You know, Magic City Classic concerts. They bring me in to cook for. You know, I cook for Frankie Beverly and Maid. Cook for Big Boy. I cook for oh man, who was it last? About 5, 6 people. I cook for Charlie Wilson. You know, when they bring people in, so I've been honored to be that guy. Yeah. That they call in to feed these people, and I have letters of recommendation, letters of thanks for these folks, and just videos of them saying, you know, just the quality of the food, the quality of the service. I got a team that works with me, man. Some people, Miss Cheryl from Green Acres, she works with me. Mm-hmm. My sister-in-law.
Shout out to Auntie.
Yeah, my sister-in-law and, you know, some friends. I got a sister here now who has a catering truck. You know, and we work alongside. So right now we got some authentic Louisiana gumbo going down. Mm-hmm. You know, authentic Louisiana food. So our menu is vast. I'm a self-taught chef, but I pretty much whatever I can cook, mm-hmm. I got somebody on my team who can cook it. So we not scared. We ain't never scared.
But you putting your people to work as well as making them like a little small partnership.
Yeah. We come together. And, you know, you can't be scared to embrace folk, good folk, who have the same mindset, who carry on the same quality. I don't believe you should support anybody just because of a race or a color. Mm. You know, support black business. I'll be the first to say all black business don't need to be supported. Yeah. But
somebody said, what he mean by that?
But
some people, if they're not taking the steps, like when Larry Langford put you out of the office, somebody might have just got mad and either not did the business or did it the wrong way still.
Yeah. And when I say this, listen to me, I believe in supporting our people.
Yeah.
But I believe, I give you for instance, so when I first wanted my sauce to be put in the stores, I went to Piggly Wiggly. I had a meeting. what I call a gatekeeper.
Okay.
So I met with the gatekeeper. I went in. She said, "Do you have your business license?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "Do you have insurance? Because if you're on the shelves, you got to have, some stores require $1 million, some require 2, some require 3.
Mm-hmm.
I had 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
Gave her my insurance, liability insurance. Cool. She said, "Well, do you have your product with all of the nutritional facts and everything on the side?" "Yes, ma'am." "Has it been tested? Do you know how long it's on the shelf? Is it stamped?" "Yes, ma'am." And so she turned and she asked me one more question. And she was like, "Do you have your EIN and your checking account information?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she looked me in my eye. She said, "Young man, I can't tell you nothing but okay." She said, "Not only you the first person, one of the first people to come in my office and have everything I need." She said, "Beyond a shadow of doubt, you're one of the first black people." And she said she's one of the first black young men to come in here with all of your stuff in order. And to me, that made me feel some kind of way more than anything else, to know that I had studied my information, looked over my craft, looked at my brand, and figured out what I needed to be accepted at the next level. And so from that day forward, I've always positioned myself to make my brand look professional. To look, when you look at it, it's going to always look like $1 million brand.
I mean, the packaging, I'm looking at the packaging, and man, I mean, why wouldn't you buy it? It's professional packaging. I mean, it looks like everybody else's. But,
and I'm not even when I did stuff at home or from a kitchen, when I was doing it myself, I was going to work, leaving work, me and the kids were getting together, going to a kitchen, mixing it up, putting it in. But even my first bottles, we were taking time to put seals on them and heat shrinking them and wrapping them. Doing a little extra. If a label went on crooked, we took it off and made sure the labels looked like they had been put on by a machine. And it's taking that extra. When you have somebody side, it's got a on the side where you can scan the barcode and go straight to the website in case you want to order some more.
Or you can scan the barcode and go on at the stove.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's that type of packaging, that type of dealing with it and being concerned about your labels. That this is a glass bottle. It's
glass?
It's glass bottle.
I thought it was plate. Okay.
It's glass, baby. And then you got the color coordination. You have the wrap.
This is glass and it's heavy. But the packaging, man, this packaging is so nice, as well as the color. So the color gonna make you jump out. Right, gonna jump out at you.
And then it ain't that water, so when you turn over, you see the water.
Yeah, see that water. Yeah. Sometimes it's like that because it's been sitting up a long time too.
That too, but when you got it right, when you have that,
yours full all the way to the top, feel like.
You got that consistency. You know what I'm saying?
You got nutrition facts on him, man. Man, this is nice. I really like this. This is nice. We got our barbecue sauce, man.
And shouts out, man. I also, when it comes to brand, so when you brand, check this out. So I have my own, I've also opened up my own merchandising side, which is called BDG, Big Daddy Gear. So you go on my website, I got gear. I got a shirt out now that says, the only Boston butts, the only other butt my wife will let me rub. You know what I'm saying? So that's on my gear. This is my towels, you know what I'm saying? Because the name of my cooking show is What You Cooking, Big Daddy? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we got a towel. But shout out to my man that does all my printing.
Man, that jacket is nice.
Hey, man, listen. Designer tees on 3rd Avenue, man. My boy Dimitri, he will hook you up if you need one, bro. You know what I'm saying? He did his thing with this jacket, with these towels. You know what I'm saying? It's all about brand building. This is my cup when I go places. You feel me? This has all my characters.
Big Zaddy.
Yeah, all my characters. This is Big Zaddy. But this is my catering. Yeah. This is the sauce boss. Yeah. The meat doctor. Yeah. So I have 4 different characters.
Yeah, that's clean, man. That's
that I act like sometimes. So You know, then there'll just be old plain old Dwayne.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
plain old Dwayne.
It's plain old Dwayne.
Well, you know, I really can't say you know, you plain old Dwayne no more, man. You have so many, you know, hats that you wear now. So,
hey man, shout out to my pastor, Pastor Vance House, New Vision Christian Church.
New Vision Christian Church. Where is that?
It's in Helena.
Helena, okay.
Yeah, so I'm, you know, a lot of people be wondering what's going on with me, but you know, my pastor really has embraced my vision. Mm-hmm. He's embraced my business, but he understands that a lot of times my food is my ministry, man. A lot of times I don't want to tell people the amount of people I feed sometimes, the folk we feed for free, you know what I'm saying? The place we put money back into the community. I just got an investment, you know, but I moved out of Alabama. I just bought a house in Bessemer. Okay. So I'm a part of that community now.
I like Bessemer. I used to cut at the Bessemer flea market. And the people in Bessemer took real good care of us, man. My cousin Frank Price, Low Price Barbershop down in Bessemer, man. We was at the Bessemer flea market. And the people were like, hey, y'all had something to eat today? You know, they would let us cut at your. And we like, no, ma'am. Man, we just go back to cutting, not thinking about it. Man, here they come with 2, 3 plates, 4 plates. Well, I got y'all some waters and, you know, y'all, and it was just like, wow, man, these people really embrace.
I think the people down there get a bad rap a lot of time, man. I've met nothing but good folks down there. Yeah. It's hard to good people. It's hard to break into a certain community when you're not from there. Yeah. But like you said, when you have a good spirit, when you're not trying to do too much, you know what I'm saying, or overdo, and you just blend in, you know what I'm saying, and look at the land and the lay of the land, you know, and work with, like right now I gotta go when I leave here, and one of the business owners out there, my boy Jay at 9th Avenue Clothing, you know, I partner with him, I do commercials for him, he do commercials for me, he got a podcast, I cook for the people that come on his podcast. Yeah, we always try to network. I try to network with the folks that's in. The people at the car wash, Bubbles Car Wash on at the end of my street. Yeah. The fire department right next to my building. Yeah, I make sure the firefighters are taken care of. Yeah. So man, you just when you get into a spot, you get into a community, you embrace that community, and you don't try to overtake it. Mm-hmm. You try to become a part of it. You know what I'm saying? So that's been a big part. I've only been down there like a year and something now, so I'm kind of still learning certain areas, learning people. But yeah, they're gonna see me at a few city council meetings and doing some things and trying to, you know, work with their school system like I did in Birmingham. But shout out, I can't say what I was saying. I'm back in the schools in Birmingham, you know, the new Common Ground program. So I'm working with the Common Ground program that's in the elementary, in the middle schools and the high schools.
That's the program that Judge
Sparks.
That Judge Sparks started.
Yeah.
And so that's a great program. Out with my schedule, with my other job, I'm not able to come. You know, I had to explain it to the lady, I'm not able to come, but that's a great program.
It is.
But we got to give accolades to Dwayne. Back when we was at JO and back when he got us in a lot of the schools, we were school monitors before they had school resource officers. Am I right?
Well, they actually had resource officers, but they didn't have monitors because the program came through the resource community. So we actually, when I was working for the police department, I created that program along with Calvin Peoples and a couple other folks. And
this was before the police department.
I was working for the city.
You weren't working. This was before that. You remember we was at JO?
Well, you talking about when I was on my own?
Yeah,
I was on my own.
That was before
doing that.
That was before the program resource officers.
And that was before we got an official duty as school hall monitors as a program. Yeah. So I created the program from what we did prior to that, when we were just in the schools, working the hallways and working with the teachers and working with the schools. Yeah, the hall monitoring
making sure the young men pull their pants up, making sure they go to class, making sure the ladies stay out.
The hall monitor program came from what we were doing prior to that. So I forgot about that.
I didn't.
Yeah, we used to be in the hallways. Yeah. When I first got here, some of the schools I worked at, like I said, JO was one of my schools, and Parker was one of my schools. Because I tell you, I was watching something the other day. There's a film that we shot at Parker. It's called Tired of Dying with my girl E. Free. She had She had a program for girls, and I had a program for the guys, and she shot a film at Parker called Tired of Dying, and Tasha Brown Lee, which was Tasha Brown at the time, she was a teacher. She started the film, and I seen her call the other day. I said, you know, I still got that movie where you screamed when the kid was, you know, got shot at on the film, and we laughed about it. But yeah, I gotta find my video of that. But you know, just stuff that we've done, man, to help these. And it was a total student ran film. You know, Erica E. Free, she wrote the script and shot the movie. Man, it was a good thing to see these kids act and portray things that was going on in their neighborhood and in their schools. And it turned out, and I did a program, and we had the actual end program where they came through, and you know, people used to make the kids walk through and look at the mirror in a coffin.
In the coffin, yeah.
But my program, when it said Tired of Dying, what I taught them was I would pass out slips, and I would have them to write down all the 5 of the negative things people either told them or they believed about themselves. And I'd have them write it on a slip. And they would come down and they'd place the slip in a coffin. And we'd take the coffin out and we'd bury that negativity. And I would do a 30-minute program of just uplifting them and encouraging them with words of positivity. So that's a program that we want to get back into place, things of that nature. Yeah. So, you know, it's been a great thing, man, to work in the city of Birmingham. It's been a wonder, man, to work with you. And you partnered with me, you know, I don't know if you probably remember how we met, but when I first came from Katrina, I thought I was staying in Birmingham. But I was staying in Inverness at Superior.
I said, man, that ain't Birmingham.
Yeah, and so it's funny because when I was at the hotel, I asked somebody, I seen them with a good haircut, a haircut that was, you know, it looked like they had been to the hood, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, where you get that? Because I had been going like Supercuts or whatever, you know, somewhere out there near my house. I said, bro, where you got your haircut at? And he said, man, 4th Avenue in Birmingham. And I put it in GPS. I bet when we had Gormans. Put it in GPS. I put it in GPS, you know what I'm saying? And when I came to 4th Avenue, I came into Magic City. It was you, Bobby, what Billy had? You, Bobby, Billy, Mr. Hornbuckle.
Yeah, Mr. Hornbuckle, Mr. Holloway.
And Mr. Holloway.
Yeah.
And man, I'm going to tell you, man, I owe y'all such, you know, I have such a high esteem for y'all, man, because, you know, y'all, Mr. Hornbuckle set me down, he embraced me, he started telling me about the city and what, you know, what there was to learn, man, and I started getting my hair cut every week, and every week I would get a different lesson. Yeah. And every week I'd meet somebody.
We had some knowledge.
A stature or a prominent would come in that barbershop, and I found out how long he had been there, and how it was stable, and how it was created, and, you know, what all he had done for the movement and people in the movement. You know what I'm saying? And, of course, shout out to Daddy Greg, man, because Greg Grant, man, he's always made me promise not to tell people what he did for me. Yeah. But I'll tell you, there'll never be a man outside of somebody who's kin to me that means as much to me as Greg Gratton does, man. I mean, he done so much for me underneath the radar. Yeah. I know what he done for me.
Me too.
And I will say that where I am now and who I am now would not have been possible if it had not been for him believing in me, my brand, and the possibility of the capability of what was inside of me.
Was he the first one who embraced your sauce?
Man, listen, he was the first one to embrace me, not only with words, but with action. But yeah, it was actually the first store my sauce was in.
That's what I thought. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, my first store was Green Acres downtown. Yeah. And he was the first person to sell my sauce. And I'm going to tell you something. I can tell him this, Mr. Greg. When I first put it in there, he didn't have me for one dime off. He bought it for exactly what he sold it for.
Yeah. That's just
he bought my sauce.
That's how damn hard it is.
And sold it for exactly. Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something else he did for me. He brought it in when others told him he shouldn't deal with it, or when other Green Acres that were owned by other folks didn't want it.
Really?
His store was the only Green Acres that it was in. Yeah. And when people would tell me, man, you don't need that in there. Because then people going to come to us and start adding up for it. And people go to other Green Acres looking for it. Like, now you get that downtown. Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean, it sometimes brings me to tears. And because I promised him that I wouldn't tell people the level of what he done for me, I just always want him to know, you know what I'm saying, that he's going to always be that dude for me. We don't see each other as much as we should. We don't bump heads as much. I always call him. I always holler at him. And I always let people know what he meant and what he meant. And I'm, you know.
He's one of my sponsors.
Okay, cool. So I know he might be looking, you know. Yeah, I get it.
Shout out to Green Acres Downtown and Green Acres Inslee. Yeah. One of the official sponsors.
And see, I didn't even know that, Dad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to Yo Chef, Kashif Yamin. Shout out to Blaze Hookah Lounge. I didn't send Roebuck. And so many more that we're gonna you will find out very, very soon. But
man, shout out to Big Daddy Bomb Barbecue.
Shout out to Big Daddy Bomb Barbecue.
We gonna join the crew, man.
Yeah, please join the crew.
We gonna everybody come on, go get some sauce.
Yeah, we need sponsors. So you know, we need you to go down to Bellswood and get you some of that hot fish on Friday.
1200 Hall Avenue. And don't be scared to look us up for your events, man. Listen, our place sit 40 people, 50 people. Got a party you don't want to give at your house, you want us to handle it? We got that there. We don't have a dance floor, but we got space. You dig? And it's clean and it's fun. But
do you do baby showers?
Man, listen, we do baby shower, we do bar mitzvah, we do breakups.
Okay.
We do get back
breakups
together.
too?
Look, man, we do all that. We
do
all that, you know what I'm saying? And we cater for all that, you know. I got a catering gig this week coming up. We cater for some of the people at the VA hospital. We got delivered at 2 in the morning, so you know we ain't never scared. Yeah. We got to feed them at 2 in the morning, so you know, man, it is what it is, man.
We're gonna definitely, once you start your new venture, we're gonna definitely have to revisit this and have another sit down. And you know, I want to thank you for coming, you know, and allowing me to be able to interview you. You know, I don't know how many you've been on, but allowing me to interview you.
Oh yeah.
So I want you to go and get your sauce. Get sauced up.
Yeah.
You know?
And they can order it online. Look, man, you ain't got to be in town. So if you watching this in another city, it's www.bigdaddybomb.com. Bomb is in good, not bomb is in hot. Y'all check your boy out, man. I'm telling you.
You have a number that they can call when they want you to?
Oh, yeah. When they want it, it's 205-728-4063. 205-728-4063. Holla at your boy, man. Listen, it's the me, Dr. Boy, Dwayne, Big Daddy. I'm always in the building. I'm always ready to do what I got to do. You know, it is what it is, man. And business in the cut, man. Holla at your boy, man. I appreciate you.
Listen, what I want you to do, I want you to like this. I want you to share it. From last Wednesday to Sunday, I felt proud for me that from Wednesday, well, before I walked out of the door last week, we interviewed Clarence Muhammad. Before we walked out of the door, we was already at 100 views.
It's good numbers, baby. It's good numbers. By
the time I got to church on Sunday, I go to Bethel Baptist in Cottesville under Dr. Thomas Wilder. When I got to church on Sunday, we hit 1,000 views.
Good enough.
Now we at 1.1. So hey, somebody watch.
Somebody watch.
So I need you to do the same thing every week. We need you to like and share. Send it to somebody. Tell somebody to watch.
Everybody that's on my live, do the same thing for the man. And we going to holler back. Peace.